Nothing is private once you hit send. Nothing is private once you hit send.
Can some internet or cyber crimes bring serious trouble? Well, we're going to find out right now, because that's what we're going to ask the lawyer on this episode. Hi again, everybody. I'm Rob Rosenthal with AskTheLawyers.com, and my guest is Pennsylvania attorney Frank Walker. I want to remind you right at the beginning, if you'd like to ask Frank some questions of your own about your situation, you can go to AskTheLawyers.com, click the button at the top that says Ask a Lawyer, or you can call the phone number that you'll see on the screen during our conversation. Frank, it's always good to see you. Thank you for making some time to help us out.
Always good to see you also, Rob. Thank you. I appreciate you having me.
So let's talk about these internet crimes, cyber crimes, that sort of thing. Have you seen a rise in these lately in the last few years of your practice?
I have, especially during the COVID pandemic. A lot of people were working from home, and you have employers who are trusting that the employees are doing what they're supposed to do while on company time, working for that company. But instead, they're looking at things they shouldn't be looking at. They are doing things they shouldn't be doing, whether it be financial crimes, whether it be staying at home and seeking unemployment while still working another job, or whether it be trying to steal money from other people by persuading them to participate in different types of schemes and other things that are unlawful, illegal, and definitely against the company's best interest. So we're seeing it rising and a lot of companies are contacting us because, number one, they want to terminate this person, but also they want to know their exposure. But then sometimes the clients and employers or former employees are calling our office because now they've gotten to a situation where they need to get out of. So we're definitely seeing a rise in that conduct.
What about with the group sometimes we call the young and dumb, the teenagers, young people? What about online bullying and that sort of thing? Can that rise to the level of a criminal offense?
It can. Now, again, back in our day, you had the bullying face to face. I mean, people said something, you either dealt with it at school, preferably after school, but you dealt with it in your own time, and people really dealt with it in their own method. But times have changed now. It's no longer face to face. Sometimes you can see the person, they not say a word to you in school or at the mall or at the playground. Now they're sending you images, or they're sending you Facebook posts, or they're posting or responding to something that you posted on one of the social media networks, and they're harassing you. And so many times they're contacting you, and it rises to the level of harassment. And other people are seeing it, and you're seeing it play out in real time online as you're watching the discussion boards. So you're seeing a lot from the young and dumb crowd, and they're not understanding that we have this phrase all the time that we say, the internet is undefeated. There's nothing you can erase from the internet. If you put it on there, someone's going to find it, and someone's going to use it against you. So if you're looking at going to college or having a career outside of high school, make sure that you think before you post anything or you send something that you think is going to be funny and maybe hurt someone's feeling for a period of time. Well, in essence, when in reality, you're hurting them for a lifetime, and you're hurting yourself for a lifetime.
Speaking of sending things that they shouldn't be sending, what about inappropriate pictures that may be of minors, underage minors, that sort of thing? Can that rise to the level of a crime?
It can. And unfortunately, teenagers, they're thinking, oh, this is my idea of flirting, or this is my idea of just sending a spicy pic to my boyfriend or to my girlfriend. Again, unfortunately, that picture's not going anywhere. And if someone else gets it, now all of a sudden you can't control what other people do with that picture. It's not going to the person you intended and staying with that person. It's traveling all over the place. And within minutes, it can be all over the world by being posted on the internet. So please be careful what you're posting, what you're sending to someone, thinking it's going to be private. Nothing is private once you hit send. Nothing is private once you hit send.
What about if somebody receives one of those images? Can that also be a crime?
It can be, especially if they're showing like a pattern, like you are requesting and you are receiving over and over and over again. Now, if I receive something from someone, it's inappropriate. I don't know who it came from. I don't know what it is. I have no connection with that person. I'm immediately deleting that. Absolutely. Now, the problem comes now when you're in a relationship with someone and they're continuing to send you things over and over and over again, and you're accepting, you're downloading, and you're responding to them. Now you are participating in that conduct, and that can get you in a lot of trouble.
What about the parents now? Let's talk to them a little bit, Frank. If they're the parents of a teenager who's involved in some of these crimes we were just talking about, what do they do? What's your advice?
Well, I literally saw last night, there's in our area where we are right now, there are schools shutting down as a result of threats being posted on one of the social media platforms. Now, schools are shutting down as a result of that. but the parents, they are not checking their kids' phones. Now, if you're under your parents' household, your parents have authority over to you, and they should be checking the phones and those social media platforms to make sure no crimes are being committed, no bullying is taking place, no inappropriate pictures are being posted. Again, there's a delicate balance between a child's privacy, right to privacy and their fundamental rights to due process. I get that. However, you as a parent have exposure and liability if your child is bullying someone, sending inappropriate pictures, sending threats, calling in bomb threats, especially when they're doing it from your home. While you're there and while you're not there, you should be able to have a conversation with your kid to make sure they understand the importance of the exposure everyone is under and everyone has if they do something stupid as an emotional response to a fight, to a disagreement. Make sure they understand the exposure, and maybe they'll think twice before hitting send.
And that's terrific information and advice, Frank. But let's say too late. The cops have already come. They've said, hey, your child's involved in cyberbullying or sending inappropriate images. What do you recommend parents do at that point?
You know, when cops are at the door and detectives are at the door, we as human beings, we have this undeniable quench. We have the undeniable thirst to try to quench by giving up everything, by just saying, hey, this is what happened. I need to tell you what happened. I need to get this off my chest. And they want to talk and they want to help. And they think by being helpful and talking, they're getting themselves out of trouble and they're talking their way out of the situation. All the officer is doing is either recording it with a body cam or writing in notes exactly what you're saying. My advice to you as a parent, if something like that happens and the officers or detectives are at your door, please do not give a statement. Say, you know what? I would rather remain silent. I'm invoking my right to remain silent, and I'm going to contact an attorney, and my attorney and I will be in contact with you regarding whether or not we want to speak with you any further. But we're not giving any statements right now without advice of counsel, and that's my advice to you.
And then get on the phone and get a good attorney.
Absolutely. Definitely call an attorney 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Call an attorney. Make sure you leave a message and make sure you don't do anything until you hear from an attorney. Now, I know you're watching this online somewhere. You're watching this video and maybe you're thinking, oh, I'm in trouble. I need to call someone right now. Call them right now. Other videos will tell you what to do, as in how to deal with it, how to answer the question. Don't do that. Don't go about this on your own. Contact an attorney. Let them do the talking and negotiating for you.
This question just popped in my mind without getting too deep in the weeds, Frank. As a parent, I'm trying to put myself in that situation. I think one thing parents might think is, well, quickly delete everything, get rid of anything that, all those emails or text messages or posts on the social media. Is that something they should do before they contact an attorney, or wait and let the attorney give them the advice on that?
Let the attorney give the advice, because now you're dealing with obstruction of justice. Think about Enron and how they got in trouble by destroying evidence. You don't want to get into that part. A lot of times there is a need or a want to say, let me delete the emails, let me delete the iCloud, let me disconnect everything and make sure there's no evidence so I'm protecting my kid. Wrong move, because now you're exposing yourself to destruction of evidence, obstruction of justice, and you don't want those charges and you don't want those problems.
Lots of really helpful information. As always, Frank, thank you so much for making some time to answer our questions. I appreciate it.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
That's going to take care of this episode of Ask the Lawyer. My guest has been Pennsylvania attorney Frank Walker. I want to remind you, if you'd like to ask Frank questions about your situation, go to AskTheLawyers.com. Click the button at the top of the page that says Ask a Lawyer, and it'll walk you right through the very simple process right there. Thanks for watching. I'm Rob Rosenthal with Ask the Lawyers.